I do miss the military. What I miss about the military is the camaraderie, like because you're there with your fellow soldiers. You know, I miss the camaraderie. Like I haven't received that much outside.
So why did you join the army?
At the time, I did it because I needed to be a part of something different. I needed structure in my life. I had none at the time. Absolutely none. I was kind of just in a dark place.
I was 56 Mike. I was like the security. I was security for the chaplain because chaplains don't carry weapons, and I would kind of like boost the morale of soldiers. So if somebody asked me what was my job description, I would say I took care of soldiers and their families. You know, just let them know like, hey, it's all right. Someone is here for you. A lot of the times it was just being the ear for somebody.
When I got out, it was 2 years of just straight, and I'm not even afraid to say it anymore, 2 years of straight crying. Like just straight pain, especially because of the divorce. The divorce was what it killed me for a long time. But it was just straight keeping all the pain to myself. When that was a massive issue, I started realizing, especially talking with other veterans, who just like, you can't just keep that to yourself. It will kill you over time, and it does. I had buddies who've already done it, and like I look back and it's like I could have talked to them. If I had just reached out one more time, I could have pulled them back in.
As a UMT, a unit ministry team, we have to check on the unit, we check on the soldiers in the unit, boost the morale. That was like a big thing of, as a chaplain assistant, that I had to do. And if I had a chaplain who didn't leave the office, I would go do it on my own because being in the army, it kind of sucks because you got people yelling at you, and you know you're just sitting there, just like, damn, why? So just go in there, make some people laugh, you know, bring them something, or you know, just your presence. Like some people will be happy just to see me. It was just being there for people. What's up, Allysha?
Chilling, working.
Yeah. So you're from Massachusetts, you said?
I am from Massachusetts.
What part of Massachusetts?
I am from a little town called Lawrence, Massachusetts. So it's a very, very small town.
Were you able to fit in there?
No, not so much. Not so much.
Do your sisters look up to you? Like, are you a perfect example for them to follow?
When I joined the army, there was definitely a lot of support, and my sisters did, look up to me. Prior to that, maybe not so much, but joining the military was definitely something that made them, pretty proud. So I would say they do look up to me a little bit.
I would still be in if I didn't struggle, because I really enjoyed it. Like I felt like I was doing something like positive, something great in my life at that time. Like I was making a difference. I was enjoying it, but some of the requirements was just hard, and I didn't push myself hard enough. I did not push myself hard enough. Like if I would have got my weight and my running to be good, under control, I'd thrive because I was a great soldier.
I used to dream about it constantly, not being able to finish my enlistment the way I wanted to. So it was just a lot of depression on that factor. So I ended up getting a major depressive disorder. I was my old sergeant and my old staff sergeant. They were like, "Yeah, we can't have you out there. Like you're looking bad. Like you're looking like you're in pain. Like that's not something you're gonna break." So yeah, you got some serious issues. Like we don't know where these came from, why you got them, but we'll try to fix it up.
So there's a culture in the military of just pushing on. You could be hurt, but you ain't gonna go to sick call or go to the doctor because you get tagged as weak,
Broke.
So I'd imagine that's what you went through.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was still trying to push through it, and me pushing through it made it a lot worse. They said the doctors were getting more and more angry with me. That stigma of us, especially infantry, the stigma of you have to just keep doing it, you can't stop.
That mentality of pushing on even though you're still injured and just don't want to seem weak. Do you still carry that today? Is that still a part?
Yeah, honestly, yes.
How's
Yes,
that
it is.
affecting you today? Like,
It's a mentality that's hard to lose. Even though I tell myself that I've worked through some of those things, I still find myself falling back into that mentality. When I don't have everything prepared and everything ready to go to a specific event, I started getting frustrated and angry with myself that I'm failing myself. Yeah, you gotta stop treating yourself like that. You gotta stop being so hateful towards yourself because of something things you can't control.
So, what is the negative stigma that veterans have, and what is something positive that you left with from the military?
I think one of the stigmas that we have is that we're unwavering. We're not flexible, or we're not willing to adapt outside the military. So people kind of still see us as that old crazy, maybe shell-shocked, the PTSD veteran. And I think the positives that I got, at least from the military, and how I relate to what I do here in school, especially, is we are very adaptable. We live in places that are dangerous, austere. Sometimes you don't have electricity or plumbing, and you learn to adapt, and you learn to see what's important in life, and you learn to kind of see what actually matters. And that helps you weed out a lot of the stuff here in school and in Austin P, at least, where you kind of deal with the classroom and you deal with adversity and the stress, and you learn to manage that stress and learn to realize that it can always be worse. So I think that's kind of what the positives I got from the military is, that it taught me resilience.
Okay.
Definitely one of the stigmas that people think is that you're done. That whatever you did and you had a purpose before that, when you get out, sometimes you don't have that drive, or you don't have what is your next thing that you're going to do. And a lot of veterans struggle to what are they going to do next? Are they done? They don't have nothing else to do. And sometimes what they don't get to see is that they have a lot to give back still to the community.
There were a lot of dark times in those couple of years.
Still figuring it out at that time.
Yes, I was figuring it out.
What clicked? Like what? Like was it just a breaking point where you was like, you need to make a difference?
Yeah, I had a breaking point after a breakup that I had. And I know that's so corny, but you know what? Everyone has their reasons for doing things. I thought that the military could give me, that structure, and it could be something that I could do that I could be proud of.
Did you get nervous at that time, or did you were you just ready to go and you were gung ho about it?
I remember being up the night before just praying to God that I made weight.
Did you make weight?
I did, but barely.
yes, it is very common for soldiers to be overweight, and that's just a military standard. Like, to compare to normal people in America, it's like, they're like, damn, they're not that bad, but yes, and you're frowned upon if you're fat, and, if you don't pass a PT test, you are really categorized as a shitbag, and that's not the case, and the system is outdated. The system is outdated, I would say. You could be depressed in the military because you're away from family, you're away from home, and you're just like, you can't leave. So there's times I lucked out in having my own office. So sometimes I'll just close the door in my office because I didn't have the energy to interact with people, and then I would focus on myself. But it was hard for me to focus on myself because that's my job, other people.
What clicked for you to go seek help? What clicked?
For me, it was being around 300 and I think it was 40 pounds. I'd put on so much weight and so much depression during that time of getting out that I just it was almost at the point of hating yourself, where you're just like, everything I was is not who I am, and everything I want to be, I can't achieve.
The reason I think veterans struggle with mental health is because they refuse to get help.
We don't talk about it because we understand it, but we don't talk about it because we don't want to believe it as much. We know it, what's going on, but Sergeant Major here at Fort Campbell, I believe he's committed suicide. Senior leaders do it, but they always, it's still the stigma with us is if you are a senior leader, E7s and above, right? and there's some E6s, but E7s and above, you do not tell your leadership that you have any kind of mental disorder.
They don't want to. They don't want to seem weak. They don't want to seem. They want to maintain that front. Like, hey, I'm good. I got this. Keep going. Like there's a thing that you just get used to it. Like pain, just mental problems. You just that's how it's supposed to be. Like they don't know how to operate without that. So it's like it becomes a blanket. And then when things are going right, you may think everything is messed up because you don't know what it's like to feel like mentally clear or doing good. Something has to be happening. Something bad has to be happening to help you, to make you feel normal. And I think that's what veterans, and not just veterans, that's what a lot of people that struggle with mental health, they become numb to it, and that's your everyday life.
It is so important. If you don't take care of your mental health, your whole life will go to shit. It will. And I say that with confidence because I went through it for a long time. I can honestly say that most of my 20s were just struggling with my mental health and trying to get my shit together. And I feel like it wasn't even until I got out that I really started to prioritize it. Because I realized that I only have me. I'm the only person that's going to be with me forever. And I needed to take care of myself, not only physically, but mentally as well. So, when I got out of the Army, I started working out that day, actually. I started working out that day. And a couple of months later, I started going to therapy because I lost my temper pretty bad at one point, and I let it take over me, and I realized that that was an issue, and it was an issue that I've had for a really long time, and I never addressed it. And so I never lose my cool or anything like on anyone or anything like that. It was more something that happened in private, just being angry, just throwing stuff, breaking shit, punching the walls, things like that. And man, that would take such a toll on me. That anger that I would feel, the guilt that I would feel afterwards was pretty bad, especially if I broke something, And so that's when I got myself into therapy, because I was like, man, if I don't get this taken care of, I'm just going to live my life just bitter and angry and just on edge forever. And so I recognized that it was an issue, and I started going to therapy. And, there we've been able to kind of work through a lot of things and work through some past traumas as well, but mostly just, focusing on the future.
Was it easy?
Okay, when you're getting ready to get out the military, there's a lot of emotions that go through. It's like, man, am I getting out on my terms? Like, what am I gonna do next? What's the next journey? And you kind of go through a small depression type, because it's unknown territory. It's very foreign, and you just trying to figure it out. So I lacked an identity, before I identified as a soldier. Getting the praise, people thanking you for your service, and it's just like you got a uniform. It's like, yes, I'm doing something. I got this money coming in, 1st and the 15th. It feels good.
So you were looking for structure. Were you able to receive that structure after being in that you were looking for?
I want to say yes.
How
I want to
so?
say yes. Because I feel like it gave me a lot of the confidence that I needed to create my own structure in a way. I was able to take a lot out from my experience that I can apply to my life now.
Other than camaraderie, what are you getting from the group when you do events?
So I started approaching it a different way and started giving more appreciation to the fact of being able to even be in and doing some service of some service. So I would that's why nowadays I'm hanging out with other veterans and talking with other veterans, and we're going to specific events and trying to meet more people, because that whole camaraderie is extremely important, especially for, like, you'll see a lot, like, there's veterans out there just by themselves with no one.
As a veteran, like, speaking to another veteran, is there some words, like, of advice or encouragement that you could share with other veterans?
So the first thing I have to say is, as a veteran, you need to get out there. It is very pivotal that you get out there and just meet and speak with other veterans. And not just about their service, but about how they're emotionally dealing with things. You should take time to embrace yourself and learn yourself. Like, because you spend all that time in the military, just doing a job, just doing your profession, that you're losing that aspect of who you are as a person. And when we get out, we find ourselves, our identity is what our MOS was. It's who we trained to be all that time, not what the person in the mirror is. When you look at yourself, you're like, I don't even know this person. So that also goes into a factor of just seeing the person in the mirror and going, I respect you, and I don't have any issues with you.
I keep my mind active because, like, if I just by myself, or if my mind isn't going, it's just quiet, I'll freak out. So I listen to music. Started dating this girl. It's nice to just have somebody there for you. I struggle. I always used to struggle with being vulnerable to people, and it's like, it's nice, just to, like, let your guard down, and because you have that front of, like, yeah, man, I got this, like, you know what I'm saying, that masculinity, but it's nice. I just got a dog, and I love that dog so much, and it's helped me. And just coming to school really helped me deal with my mental health, because it's like you see so many walks of life, and you're just like, damn, man, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I get inspired by people, and it's like, it's a whole different culture, and it's just like, man, people, the younger generation is like, I really admire them because they stand up for what they believe in. And it's like, you might not agree with it, but it's just like, they stand on what they believe in, and they'll go try to make a difference. And I like that.
What do you do in your spare time?
What I do in my spare time, I like to drive. I like to play video games. I like to go to concerts, live concerts. But I prefer, like, going to, like, a lounge or a bar that has live music. And I like being outside on the water and playing with my dog and just hanging out with the small amount of friends that I have. And that really helped me.
Things in my calendar on my phone.
I remember walking with you to over there on the other side of campus, and your sense of direction. Like,
Oh my gosh.
Why?
Seriously, no, I'm telling you, I take the longest way to go places, and it's never on purpose. I have a terrible sense of direction, I really, really do, and it's so funny that you caught that, because I always do that. I don't know, I just make shit harder on myself. And you know what? I literally need a GPS to go anywhere. Also, I don't know. You couldn't put me at the front of the formation. I'll tell you that.
Okay.